Welcome, everyone, in this hyper-connected world. While we are traveling around Europe, connecting all the dots, I'm very pleased to welcome you to this brand new Med Talk with a brand new guest. I'm Sara Roversi. I'm the president of the Future Food Institute, but here today representing the emblematic community of Mediterranean diet of Pollica, Cilento, Italy, and the Center of Studies of Mediterranean Diet, Angelo Vassallo. And we are here today, connected from Campania to Spain, because actually this year, to Portugal, sorry, because this year actually we are very proud to have a brand new presidency coordinating the emblematic communities and the network of the emblematic communities. And so we are connected with Tavira, and I want to welcome Artur, that today is going to connect us with something that we need to discover more and more, because we want to really highlight all the tons of diversity we can find within the Mediterranean diet and tangible heritage. Artur, please introduce yourself and connect us to Tavira.
Thank you, Sara Riversi. Thank you for this opportunity to speak about my most important theme, that's Mediterranean diet, Mediterranean lifestyle. It's a pleasure to be here with you. I work in an NGO, a local development organization, that is a close partner with the municipality of Tavira. We work for a long time, for more than 3 decades, in sustainable development in this rural territory. We have been partners in many projects. I've been working and coordinating projects with Tavira for a long time on several topics, and it's really a pleasure to work with this partnership, and we have done great things together. So it's a partnership that we intend to cherish and deepen even for the future. Thank you for your invitation.
So as I was mentioning you, my flight was a little bit late, but I was exactly today at the World Health Organization in Geneva, also talking about the importance of Mediterranean diet as a cultural framework, as a cultural heritage, a living heritage that is strictly connected, of course, with our way of living that is sustainable and the healthier in the planet, we can say. I want to know from Tavira which are, let's say, some of the most important elements, but also opportunities to connect and to spread Mediterranean diet heritage.
We have been working here for long in cooperation around the Mediterranean lifestyle. We have been working in projects with not only the other countries of the Mediterranean arch, but also with the countries of the North Africa and the Middle East. So we have a long experience of sharing, of exchange, of communication between both sides of the Mediterranean. And it's really interesting to see when our invitation, for example, from Lebanon, from Palestine, from Egypt, comes to our region, expecting to see an Europe, a stereotype of Europe, and they arrive here and they look at the houses and they see, look, this is like my house in my village. They look at the names of the villages, they say, oh, it's the same name as the village next to me. And they see the food, and they see the architecture, and they see the culture, and they find really themselves at home, because we share this common heritage, we share this same basis on which we have made our future and where we have done our own personality. And so this common heritage, it's really the basis for communication, for dialogue, for improvement of products, for improvement of qualities and the exchange of ways of being. So it's really a huge basis to understanding, to cooperation, to work on what unites us and not on what separates us.
So you have been studying a lot the Mediterranean diet, of course, from your perspective, the anthropological perspective. we are very fascinated also to better understand how Mediterranean diet has been able to shape territories. Of course, when we're talking about Mediterranean diet, we're talking about living heritage, we're talking about rituals, we're talking about the time we're spending around the table and how, and the importance of convivium. But then we also know that in Mediterranean diet, agricultural practices are very important. And also, of course, all the different elements and food heritages that we have been able to preserve or anyway to transmit to the future. Of course, gastronomic creativity within all the Mediterranean territories is one of the pillars. And I'm actually very curious because now, with this journey within the Mediterranean diet, we are tasting and discovering different flavors, different biodiversity. I'm curious to know more how the Mediterranean diet from Tavira is actually expanding the horizons, but overall creating new kind of very important elements or emblematic foods that are for you iconic, emblematic and iconic foods representing your culture.
Exactly, Sarah. Uh, I have a very clear vision of what a Mediterranean diet is. Mediterranean diet is the survival strategy of the ones that don't have much. It has always been like that. It's the way of living of the fishermen, of the small farmers, of the small merchants, of the small shepherds. These small communities that lived on the coast, that live on the mountain, they didn't were the owners of the production factors. They weren't the owners of the forests that were usually from the high classes. They were just people who had their work, their families to live on. And so to survive, they develop a huge understanding of the environment. They develop a deep knowledge of where the fruits came, where the products went, how the fish circulated around the Mediterranean, what was useful to help the families to survive. And that knowledge has produced some of the most exquisite foods, some of the most sustainable products that are connected with the season, that are connected to the territory, that are very sustainable. These lessons of sustainability that we have to share and transmit to nowadays to our children because they have inherit this knowledge and they have continued. During this process of deep knowledge about products, about species, about varieties, they have created a, a food culture, a gastronomy so exquisite, so delicious, and so healthy that really, I used to say, it's the revenge of the poor because the lifestyle of these low classes, it's much more healthier, it's much more sustainable, it's much more tasteful than the lifestyle of the upper classes. So I think these lessons have to be shared to the future.
I love what you just said, the revenge of the poorest. But listen, this is pretty interesting because we are very much focused on understanding which are the key elements, but also understanding how crucial are nowadays marginal areas, how crucial is to bring back frugal innovation. And
Exactly.
also, I was talking with some philosophers last week, and we were debating a lot about the importance of everything we are missing. The absence is going to save us. And what you have been saying, it's really what we are living in the territories of Mediterranean diet, where we see that this approach has been the element that has been preserving the essentials, the essential needs, the essential taste, the essential elements, bringing just the values at the epicenter of the equation. So I think that this is really interesting, and it would be even more interesting to connect all the others dots and analyze which are these elements that have been able to preserve all of that. Now, of course, when we're talking with young generations, and with let's say the broader audience, and they are all saying that Mediterranean diet is dying, that Mediterranean diet is not adopted by the young generation. So we need, of course, to safeguard this heritage. And I strongly believe that now what we are saying now is absolutely what we need to build a better future. I founded a foundation that is called the Future Food Institute. So we are every single day working in innovation, foresighting, and so on. And we clearly made the decision to go back to the roots because this is the only way to build a better future together. So now, considering that Tavira this year is leading the coalition, we really also would love to know which are the main events, the main opportunities also for our audience to discover Tavira and to discover the Portuguese approach and version to Mediterranean diet.
Tavira is the proud representative community of Portugal. It represents the Mediterranean lifestyle all over the region, up from the north up to the south, and with their immense diversity. Because one of the things most interesting in this lifestyle is that it's adapted to the territory, it's adapted to the location, it's very diverse. It's not a checklist of products, it's the way of how communities use the available products in their territory and produce with them the needs, to supply for them the needs they want for them and for their community. So this attitude of survival, it really means that in locations near the sea, the fish is a big issue in the food. In the places in the mountains, the goats and the other type of natural and spontaneous plants are the basis. In the other regions, use what is available with very deep knowledge, with art, and they make of this an exquisite way of producing nourishment and sufficient for their families. Of course, Tavira is the representative community, and so it has some extra responsibilities, not only to share and stimulate other communities all over the country, from north to the south, to issue this as a key element, and we have done it. We have been working with Tavira for many times, sharing this knowledge and stimulating other communities to do their safeguard plans, to meet their commissions for the safeguard of Mediterranean diet. So things are going, but also with the example. Tavira, it's a municipality that aggregates a vast community of public, private organizations that work together on common goals. We have done just now the second version of the action plan for the next 4 years to improve and save a Mediterranean diet, but with a focus on the future. Our view is to think and use the resources of the past, the resources of the territory, material and immaterial, and project them to the future, to make them accessible, to make them identifiable by the new kids, by the new generations. This is fundamental. We cannot close the Mediterranean diet in a museum. We have to open gates. We have to open the doors for that everybody can identify themselves with their own expression, with their own identity in this big table where we all sit, where we all share our experience, where we share what we think and what we know, and how do you project the future. So I think Mediterranean diet, it's a kind of a cement that aggregates people, aggregates organizations around a sustainable development for our territory. And that for anthropologists, it's really gold, because it's really how every territory should be done, should be planned, should be developed based on their cultural identity.
Sincerely speaking, I've been always very inspired on how Portugal has been implementing Mediterranean diet in the national strategies and the work that your Ministry of Agriculture has been doing, creating global strategy, let's say a national strategy out of Mediterranean diet, connecting Mediterranean diet with the school meal plan, with agricultural policies, and so on. So I think that you have been doing an incredible work. I'm glad now maybe to ask you if you want to share some insights, suggestions, or also say, some kind of website or places where our audience can go and learn more, because I know that you are very connected with many local projects, many local organizations, and so maybe we can also share afterwards in the links some of your references for all the people that want to learn more about Tavira and the connection with Mediterranean diet.
Thank you very much. I think you are all invited to come to Tavira for the great feast that is the Mediterranean Diet Festival. It's really more than just a festival or a fair. It's a meeting. It's a meeting where producers, handicraft, institutions, people join together in the celebration of Mediterranean life, of the life around the Mediterranean lifestyle. So it's really a place that it's impossible not to come here. In the first weekend of September, you are all invited to come here. We are going to start sharing the program and the activities with music, with cultural activities, with food tastings, with local products, with handicraft, all of it. All expressions of Mediterranean diet we will find here. And it's from all the country, even from our neighbors in Spain. So you will have also several cultural experience from other countries of Mediterranean. You have other cultural heritage presences here. So it's really a meeting place for immaterial cultural heritage to join. You are all invited, but also before you can share look at the site of the Mediterranean diet in Tavira. You can look at the sites of the community of entrepreneurs and organizations that work are together in the Mediterranean diet route project. You can go and see and that's a site that is also in English, so you can share more contents and links. You can go to another site where we have a regional strategy on food education based on Mediterranean diet. It's called, but unfortunately it's in Portuguese only, it's called Prato Certo, the right dish. We can share you all these links of connected resources that help people to help producing locally, producing seasonally, eating well, knowing what the products are, understanding and sharing culture, and all these elements that are fundamental to make this lifestyle really exceptional all over. But don't forget, first weekend of September, you have to come to Portugal, you have to come to Tavira and share with us this wonderful 4 days of meeting around Mediterranean diet.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm gonna try to come because actually, now that we are doing this digital journey of the emblematic communities, I have an agenda and schedule of festivals of Mediterranean diet that now we must explore and test personally. So thank you so much for this invitation. And we need to make sure to connect more and more our communities because there's a lot to share and many best practices that we can basically share with actually all the other countries around the Mediterranean, because let's remind that of course belongs to the seven emblematic communities, but this is a shared heritage that many other countries are also representing in the daily life. So we are all part of this incredible area that is the Mediterranean that we need to preserve. So Artur, thank you so much for being with us. I invite you also to come and visit us, but also to reconnect whenever you're going to have interesting project to share with the network of the emblematic communities. We will be more than glad to highlight what Tavira and Portugal are doing to preserve and safeguard and transfer to the next generation our shared living heritage. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah. It's been a pleasure, and it's a pleasure to work with this partnership that here in Portugal is united in the safeguard, in the protection, and the evaluation of Mediterranean diet as a lifestyle that we want to share and give back to our children and to our grandchildren, because it's really our basis. It's really our base bark. It's really where we come from, and it's really where we should go to. So it's really the thing that we have, the best thing that we have to share with the next generations. It's what we are. Bye,
Thank you
Sarah.
so much. Bye
Thank you very
bye.
much. Bye bye.
Looking forward to the next. Ciao.
Let's see us in September.
Yes.